Hello and welcome to Charlie's Desk. So today on the desk, from left to right, we have a potted plant in the upper left-hand corner. Lower left-hand corner, we have a mug of hot water. In the center of the desk, we have a sheet of graph paper and a graph paper notebook with my notes. And then above that is a stone that I found in, I think, by the Spy Pond in Arlington, and then the RNIB Braille watch, a sprig of rosemary, the mysterious brailer from Hungary, the rooster brailer, and a medjool date plant that I grew from a seed. So that's what's on the desk today, and today's episode is mindfulness for orientation and mobility. Now, mindfulness for orientation and mobility is something that I love to teach because orientation and mobility is such a mind game. It can be so freaky for people to start traveling without sight at first that they're often distracted by a lot of different thoughts. That's what I saw when I was working with, adults who are newer, is that they're kind of distracted by anxious thoughts as they're traveling, when you really need to be paying attention to what you're listening to, the sensory information you're receiving with your cane, everything through your feet. You got to use whatever you got. And that means you need to focus your mind. So I'm just going to go through a skills-based version of mindfulness. So I'm going to talk about the goals of mindfulness first. Okay, so the goals of mindfulness practice in general are to reduce suffering and increase happiness, right? Reduce pain, tension, and stress. And then also to increase control of your mind. So stop letting your mind be in control of you. And then experiencing reality as it is, living life with an open perspective, in really experiencing your connection to your own validity, and your connection to the community. So those are the goals, and let's talk about that for orientation mobility. Being stuck at home can cause a lot of pain and suffering, and not having the skills to get around and do the stuff that you used to do, it can be very frustrating. So that's reducing suffering, and then getting where you want to go. That, of course, increases happiness. Who doesn't want to get where they want to go? And then increasing control of your mind. All right, so that's those anxious thoughts again. Like you are using the cane as a tool, or you working with the guide dog, but you need to be in control of your mind. It can be scary, but if you use the skills, you can get where you want to go. You can work on routes. But you need to sort of be in control of your mind and paying attention to your senses. And that's about experiencing reality as it really is, not being so caught up in your head. So let's just jump right into the what skills of mindfulness. And I'm hoping that'll get me to talk about some other things. So taking a hold of your mind, these are the what. This is the what of mindfulness. All right, so the first what skill is observing. So just notice your body sensations, all the different senses that you have available to you, and then pay attention on purpose to the present moment. Control your attention, but not what you see. Push away nothing and cling to nothing. Practice wordless watching. Watch thoughts come into your mind and let them slip by like clouds in the sky. Notice each feeling rising and falling like waves in the ocean. Observe both inside and outside yourself. That's really important. So observing. The next one is describe, but let's talk about the relationship between observe and describe. So most people observe and describe instantly. They don't think about it as two steps. You see and label, or you touch and label. I touch the mug. I'm not thinking about how the mug feels. I'm not thinking, oh, the mug is warm and smooth and, it's familiar. That's observing. Describing this is the mug. It is made of ceramic. I can see that it's blue and it kind of has, it looks like someone painted with a brush around it because you kind of see streaks of black and blue. It's pretty. That's describing. Observing is, how does it feel? What you can take in through your senses. If I hold the mug, up to my face, I can feel, it's warm. I can feel the steam rising off the hot water that I have in here, right? That's observing. And then as I'm explaining it to you, that's describing. All right, so we need to split those things up. And the reason why we need to do that in orientation and mobility is sometimes people make incorrect assumptions about what they've located with their cane. And so let's say they find something and they think it is their pathway to their house. And they're like, great, this is the pathway to my house. And then they turn the corner and then they walk up and, oh, it's not their house. They made a judgment too quickly. They observed something and it described it as their house when actually maybe it was the path just before that. All right, so now let's talk about describe. Put words on the experience. When a feeling or thought arises or you do something, acknowledge it. For example, say in your mind, sadness has just enveloped me, or stomach muscles tightening, or a thought, I can't do this, has come into my mind. That can be a distracting thought, that you can't do it. Label what you observe. Put a name on the feelings. Label a thought as just a thought, a feeling is just a feeling, an action is just an action. So saying I can't do this and I'm having the thought that I can't do this is very different. The second one allows you to go ahead and do it. When you're really stuck in I can't do this, it's hard to move. But if you can be aware and think, I'm having the thought I can't do this, that allows you to make a move. All right, and that's about labeling what you observe. So unglue your interpretations and opinions from the fact. Describe the who, what, when, and where that you observe, just the facts. And then remember, if you can't observe it through your senses, you can't describe it. So you're on the street corner, you're trying to figure out what's going on, or you're on your route, you're a little lost, trying to figure out what's going on. You got to stop and before labeling and just observe. Spend some time observing, paying attention on purpose, stay focused, but don't try and immediately understand what you're hearing and perceiving. After you've given yourself a chance, then start describing it. You don't want to make a snap judgment and be wrong and get yourself more lost. All right, so that's the first two skills. Observing, which we've established is different from describing, right? And then participating, right? This is what you really need for O&M. Throw yourself completely into the activities of the current moment. Do not separate yourself from what is going on in the moment. Dancing, cleaning, doing O&M, getting, feeling happy, feeling sad. Just participate. Become one with whatever you're doing. Just forget yourself and throw yourself into the moment. Act intuitively, okay? Do just what is needed in each situation. Like a skillful dancer on the dance floor, one with the music, and your partner, neither willful nor sitting on your hands. And then go with the flow. Respond with spontaneity. You gotta respond to the events on the ground. You can't respond to what you wish was happening with you. You have to respond with what's happening to you, and for better or worse, that's all you got. So let's just talk about a couple ways to potentially practice some of these skills, right? The observe, describe, and participate skills. These are the what skills. The next video will be about the how skills. But observe, all right? So that's why I have this, rock here that I found by Spy Pond. And so, just, you can find anything. Maybe it's a rock, but just experience the tactile feel of it for a second and focus totally on that. And then try to describe it. Like, to me, this feels reminiscent of a very fine sandpaper. It has that connection to me. So that's how I describe it, is like that. It's light. And then I have two other things, which are the pocket watch and the rosemary, and those are just sort of teasers for another video about the stop skill, and this is for dealing with distress. It's for a distress tolerance skill. And so sometimes people on the street corner, when you get lost, their heart's racing, right? And so when that's going on, I ask people to, find a place where they can stand for a second and stop and take a breath and observe what's going on, and then find a good way to proceed, right? Stop. So in the take a breath sort of section of stop, right? Sometimes people need something that can get their brain to short circuit for a second, short circuit out of the anxiety. And so for mindfulness, deep breathing is really familiar to a lot of people. It can lower your heart rate, calm you down, etc. Trigger the release of serotonin, right? But some people don't like breathing, so that's why I have the pocket watch, which is what I would do when I would get stressed, is I would just hold up the watch to my ear, wind it. It didn't have to be on the right time, but just hold the watch to my ear and be like, oh, it's still ticking. That's good. But then I broke it and I was like, oh God, I can't go with this metaphor. And then for some people, one of my clients came up with a really good idea, just having like a sprig of rosemary, or take some lemon oil and put it on a tissue in a plastic bag. And then when they got stressed, they would just kind of experience, just observe, right? Observe, the rosemary or the lemon oil, whatever it was, and that kind of could give them a break from the stress and anxiety enough to start making good decisions about orientation and mobility, right? If you're caught up in your head, then you're not participating, and the things you're observing are in your head, and you need to be observing all around you for orientation and mobility. Doing the best you can. So yeah, that's my first. No, I made another one. This is the first in this series where I'm going to try and do the full mindfulness curriculum that I got. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you later. Bye.